In this video, we dive into movie Stranger Things Season 5. We will discuss the storyline, summarize the plot, and explore the cast and characters. Additionally, we will cover the show production details and its performance. Finally, we will provide our views and share our personal reactions. So, let's get started. Time moves fast in Stranger Things. The fifth and final season arrives almost 3.5 years after the fourth run, which already felt like a final. Not least because the cast had visibly grown up. What originally begins as a beloved homage to 1980s film where brave children face terrifying adventure has now adjusted its plot lines and dialogue to match young adulthood. Life lessons have been learned, selves have been discovered, and adolescence has given way to maturity. Hawkins, Indiana, has been torn apart, and the sinister presence of Vecna still lingers. Stranger Things now return with the characters visibly in their 20s. This create a challenge. Part of the show's charm with watching kids outrun monsters, paddling faster on their BMX bikes, ignoring their mom calling them to dinner, hiding in the basements with school books, drawings of plans, battling the upside downs, or even the US military using pencils, bubblegum, walkie talkies, and a dragon figure. And if everyone now look old enough to have a studio apartment and a stock portfolio, some of that magic feel different. The 4 new episodes with 3 more coming at focus intensely on shrinking the Stranger Things world. We do not leave Hawkins useless. It through a nightmare mirror into the upside down. Our friends have become at most ageless in personality. Their core characteristics preserved. Alan remain the intense psychic warrior. Mike stays determined and loyal. Lucas and Jonathan, who have sometimes struggled to define their rules, are still welcomed along for the ride. Joyce and Hopper continue to stand strong, with each episode running almost the length of a feature film. The season feels like a 5-hour action comedy horror movie divided into parts. Episode 1 is largely set up, while the episode 4 deliver a thrilling, explosive spectacle full of flamethrowers, bullets, and shocking moments, making impressive use of what appears to be visual limitless effect budgets. It culminates in a moment that will have fans standing on their chair and cheering. The gang crawls through tunnels, gathers supplies, argues, encourages each other, and improvises their way out of impossible situations, just as they always have. The season draws a reference point from classics like Exotics, Home Alone, Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, and other cult favorites, blending horror, adventure, and heartfelt storytelling. Then there is the long-awaited blossoming of Will, who was Vecna's first victim back in Season 1, Episode 1. Season 5 opened by revisiting the beginning, bringing the story full cycle. Will, who for years have been a quietly troubled presence defined by his trauma, now emerged as one of the most important members of the ensemble. His coming of age journey reached a powerful turning point. Stranger Things Season 5 promises an emotional and dramatic conclusion, returning to where it all began while preparing to end the story of Hawkins once and for all. But the writer actor, the Duffer brothers have always treated their creation with more care and sensitivity that you might expect from a $1 billion retro fantasy thriller. Now, in season 5, Will find himself on one more journey of self discovery, perhaps the most moving on yet. Before we continue, we know this message can feel repetitive. Imagine what it's like writing it, but it's also extremely important. Independent journalism is one of the Guardian's most valuable assets. We are not beholden to the political hymns of a billionaire owner. No one tell us what to say or what not to report. Reader funding means we do not have to chase click or traffic. We are not desperately seeking attentions for its own sake. We parse the stories that matter, free from add virtual content, and we believe that is worth your support. Reader funding also allow us to keep our website open, enabling as many people as possible to access quality journalism from around the world, especially those living in the place facing perils. Right now, only 2.4% of our regular reader financially support our work. We understand that every can afford to pay for news, but if you can, we encourage you to support us. Now back to the Stranger Thing. The iconic Netflix series Stranger Thing is coming to an end this year, but the conclusion is only just beginning. Final season will be released in three parts. The first part premiere the day before Thanksgiving, the second part on Christmas, and the series finale on New Year's Eve. This split release strategy, however, did not go over well with some fans during season 4. Despite the story has seen major improvements since season 3, and the creators have promised a powerful cliffhangers to keep audience excited for the final episode. Season 5 maintained its traditions of splitting characters into different groups, but this time everyone is more united in purpose. The final season began 18th month after an upside down earthquake wreaked havoc on Hawkins. It is now the fall of 1987, and the military has turned Hawkins into a quarantine zone, meaning no one can leave without being smuggled out. The group has been orchestrating missions into the upside down to locate Vecna. However, he has been hiding among them, operating an invisible presence under the name Mr. Tyler. In season 5, episode 4, the search for Holly continues as a rescue mission targeting Vecna begins. Season 5 also introduced a new villain, Dr. Key, played by Linda Hamilton, famously known for her role in The Terminator. She is an authoritarian leader who has assumed control of the Hawkins military operation to prevent the upside down from spreading to other parts of the world. In her attempt to learn more about the alternative dimensions and its powers, Dr. Key has taken several beings captive, including one so powerful that 11 believes it should never have been brought into such a dangerous environment. Dr. Key establishes a military base within the Upside Down, using his mysterious being power for her own purpose. In season 5, episode 4, Hopper and 11 break into the base in order to stop Dr. Key and destroy the unknown entity, allowing Eleven to finally confront her past and step fully into her power. The stage is now set for the ultimate battle. Who could have thought we could see Eleven able to fly? Things escalate quickly. Dr. Key connects Eleven to a deep brain interface that links directly to her powers. With Eleven temporarily out of commissions, Hopper sacrifices himself once again to kill who he believes to be Vecna. They share yet another emotional goodbye, which at this point feel like a staple every season must include. However, it turned out that the powerful person Dr. Key has been keeping prisoner is not Vecna, it is Kali, also known as It. The sister-like figure 11 met in season 2 episode 7, The Lost Sister. After all this, it seemed the question surrounding Collie's fate by finally to be answered. Meanwhile, Steve and his crew are up to their usual risky activities after crashing into the ups and down tunnels. Dustin manages to make contact with Hooper and 11 before they break into the military base. For now, the four of them appear relatively safe, though they may be waiting a long time for breakup, much to Nancy's frustrations. In season 5, Vecna has been quietly executing his plan to take over the world and destroy humanity. Children are essential to his strategy because in his mind they are weak and easily molded into whatever he need. His first victim in his new phase is Holly, whom he manipulates by warning her about a monster, even though he is the one who sent it in the first place. The group believe Holly is trapped behind the impenetrable barrier Vecna created after kidnapping Holly, nearly killing Karen, Wheeler, and 11 in the process. Vecna imprisons her inside a twisted version of his memories, especially the Carroll house where he murdered his family. Holly does not realize Henry Carroll's true evil intentions until she encounters Max in the woods. Max brings Holly to the cave that Vecna refuses to enter, presumably because of traumatic memories tied to it. There, Max explains her own long journey since being attacked by Vecna and saved by 11. Max has been wandering through Vecna's mind, revealing his memories. She nearly escaped when she heard Lucas playing her favorite song, but her chance vanished when the connection was reversed. Since then, she has accepted her fate and made a kind of fragile home within Vecna's mental landscapes. As for Holly's real body, a vision shows her wrapped in vines against a wall with tentacles in her mouth, just as Will was when Joyce and Hooper found him in the season 1. However, because Vecna manipulates perceptions, it's unclear whether Holly's body is physical in the ups and downs or if what we are seeing is merely a projection within Vecna's mind. The bigger question is why and how Will has been seeing version throughout this season. Will begins experiencing events through Holly's perspective. Some believe that this is because he is part of the Mind Flayers, his conscience created by Vecna, which is partially true, but its reality. Will is not inside Holly minds, he inside Vecna. Vecna can enter people through thoughts and will appear to share a similar connection. This new ability allows Will to sense who Vecna's next victim will be. With the help of Joyce, Mike, Lucas, Robin, Orisa, Murray, and others will never prevent Vecna from capturing multiple children and subjecting them to same horrors he endures as a child. However, the rescue plan failed while smuggling children out of the Hawkins military quarantine zone through underground pipes. Soldiers intercept and arrest them. At the same time, Vecna discovers where the children are hiding and sends Demogorgons after them. Vecna reveals that he chose Will as his first victim a year ago because he sensed something different in him, a connection. He believed Will could help him reshape the world, but instead of killing him, Vecna left him alive, promising that they could one day do great things together. And it seems that Vecna's ultimate plan may still depend on Will being alive, but Vecna does not need Will death. Instead, he releases his Demogorgons and sends them after Mike, Robin, and Lucas. Seeing this best friend in danger awakens something inside Will, a part of himself that had always been there but that he never knew how to reach. The series flashes back to pivotal moments from Will childhood. He see him meeting Mike and forming their friendship, building castle Byers and making heartfelt drawings for his mother and brother. He remembers Robin's quiet strength and her own struggle to accept her identity. Will reflects on his own hidden feelings and his love for Mike. Those memories inspire him to finally accept himself. In a powerful moment, Will uses telepathic attack to kill the Demogorgons and save his friends. The first half of the final seasons end with a shot of Will wiping blood from his nose. Although the group loses their initial battle, they gain not one but two powerful allies in the long run. The additions of Collie's abilities and Will's newly awakened powers could be enough to overpower Vecna if they can manage to draw him out. Based on the events of the first four episodes, the big question becomes who is likely to die. Going into the final season, many fans predicted that Steves and Hooper could be at risk given their development into protective, self-sacrificing character. However, after Hooper's repeated near-death moments, it might feel repeated to put him through another fake out. If it happens again, it need to be final. As for Will, season 5 part 1 does not raise intermediate red flag about his fate, but he will remain a strong possibility. Right now, the most obvious candidate could be Nancy. He has stepped into a major leadership role driven by Holly kidnapping and the danger facing her family. Since season 1, Nancy has embodied the final girl archetype, killing her word completely subvert expectations. The Duffer brothers have teased that the most violent and the shocking moments are still to come, and they could be reserved for someone emotionally central like Nancy. Season 5 Volume 1 is now streaming on Netflix. Volume 2 premieres December 25 and the series final arrives on September 31. Naturally, the hype around the show has exploded, with fans flooding social media to express how shocked they were by Volume 1. Biggest twist, Will Byers has powers in final showdowns of Volume 1, the group return to the Upside Downs to confront Vecna. During the battle, he will look deep within himself and realize he has abilities similar to 11. He unleashes his newfound power to destroy multiple Demogorgons before they can attack Mike, Lucas, and Robin. The final image of Volume 1 show Will lifting his head with new determinations as he wipes blood from his nose. His revelations is earth-shattering, but the real question is Will channeling power from Vecna, and has he always pursued it immediately? The creators revealed that Will gained his power after being kidnapped and taken to the ups and downs in season 1. His connection to Vecna played a role, but the ability itself may have always been within him. As they explain, Will had a dark variant of his power back in season 2 when he was connected to Vecna. He could see that Vecna saw, but he did not realize that he was also tapping into something deeper, something that allowed him to resist and even influence Vecna. It took several seasons to build towards this moment, but it was always the part of long-term plan. Now, with Will fully embracing his abilities, the stage is set for the ultimate confrontations, one that could change Hawkins forever. The details of the scene were a little rough at first, but they became clearer once production begins. As Matt explained, the idea had been developing for a long time, and now fans are finally seeing it unfold. On November 26, Volume 1 of the first and final season dropped on Netflix, with 4 episodes, bringing viewer close to the grand finale set for December 31. The story picked up after the dramatic event of season 4, which ended with the Hawkins under strict military lockdown. The town is sealed off under government control and no one can leave without permission. However, the military presence has not kept the group idle. They have carried out more than 30 missions, codenamed Carol operations, in an attempt to locate Vecna, also known as Henry Carroll, who disappeared in the season 4 finale and has not been seen since. Meanwhile, 11 have been training intensely, hoping to join Hooper on one of these missions. He secretly moves through Hawkins using the tunnel system to avoid the military, which is still hunting her after her escape in season 4. Frustrated by being sidelined, she wants to be more involved in the hunt for Vecna. Hooper, however, is extremely protective and refuses to let her participate. Eventually, 11 makes her way back into the ups and downs when she enters to search for Holly Wheeler, who was taken at the end of episode 1. As previously revealed in season 4, 11 originally opened the gate to the ups and downs when she banished Henry after he attacked Hawkins' lab. Now, with Vecna preparing for what appears to be one final battle, the stakes are higher than ever. So, how does this first chapter end? Here are a recap of where things stand at the end of season 5, volume 1. Both 11 and Hooper are inside the ups and downs searching for Holly, who was abducted into episode 1. It is revealed that Holly's imaginary friend is actually Henry Carroll. He sent a Demogorgon to take Holly from her home and bring her into ups and down, where she is being kept Inside a dreamlike variant of Carol House, she appeared to be hidden from the darkest part of the ups and down, protected behind a massive, impenetrable wall. Although they have not yet rescued Holly, Hooper and Eleven's uncover important information about a military operation taking place within ups and down led by Dr. Key. They capture one of the soldier and interrogate him. During the interrogations, Eleven enters his mind in an attempt to locate Vecna. For what she sees, Eleven became convinced that there is a hidden section within the military base in the ups and downs where Vecna may be trapped or operating from. Hooper finally allowed Eleven to put her training to test. She scaled a government building and broke inside when Hooper joined her, and they are confronted by a top military scientist who attempt to disable Eleven power. Hooper fight her off and eventually knocks her unconscious. Hooper tells Eleven to retreat to the world for safety while the continues searching the faculty. When he returns, he reveals something shocking. The authorities have been hiding Eleven's sister Kali, also known as H, who is being held in a secured area. Meanwhile, the season 4 finale left Max appearing nearly dead, blind with multiple broken bones after Wagner's attack. She has been unconscious and in coma, unresponsive despite Lucas' repeated attempt to wake her. However, Volume 1 finally delivers some hopeful news about her survival. The battle is far from over and the final confrontation is drawing closer. At the end of episode 3, Max appears in Ups and Down and makes contact with Holly. She lures Holly into a dreamlike part of the ups and downs. Max explains that she is exciting in kind of spirit form. When Vecna took her, he opened a gate, a funnel that she was put into. When Holly asks why Max does not seem more afraid, Max admits that she was terrified at first, but she left something calling her and began traveling through different memories of Henry Cavill's life. She connected her experience to the plot of A Wrinkle in Time, explaining that she realized she had three choices: take her own life, accept her trapped fate, or escape. She chose to escape. Max says she followed the sound of Cat Bush running up the hill through Henry memories and eventually reached a place where she saw herself lying in a hospital bed in a coma with Lucas by her side. Just as she was about to run through a portal back to her body, the music stopped and portal disappeared. Vecna chased her, but she managed to fall into a cave, a place he refuses to enter, likely because of traumatic memories. Now that Holly has arrived, Max wants to try her third option again. She formed a plan, but for it to work, Holly must return to the Carroll's house with Henry. Though frightened, Holly agrees and asks, "Tell me what I need to do." Meanwhile, Jonathan arrives late to the military compound after briefly being detailed by Joyce in a barn. He managed to identify a hidden entry point and lead them through a tunnel system toward the bathroom where Will and Mike are waiting to escort the girls to safely through underground passage. Their escape almost succeeds, but a pipe burst, causing a leak and alerting the soldier on duty. At the same time, Demogorgons track down the children who are trying to escape and lift them into the air. As the group attempts to rescue the middle scholars the government had gathered inside the military base, chaos erupts. Mike and Joyce are captured while trying to exit through an underground tunnel. The military forces bring them outside the Prax just as the Demogorgons attack soldiers and guards are killed as Vecna make his entrance. Meanwhile, Ted and Karen Wheeler remain in critical condition in the hospital following the earlier Demogorgons attack. The central storyline of first four episodes focus on the search for and attempt to kill Vecna. At first, he appears only as Holly, imaginary friend calling himself Mr. Truth, but Holly is not the only child who see him. He also appears to other classmates despite conducting 37 carols missions into the upside down. Hooper's team has been unable to find Vecna. He has built a massive walls of Demogorgons like Flash to hide behind, the same barrier that appear to be imprisoning both Max and Holly. Finally, at the end of episode 4, Vecna reveals himself. He lifts Will into the air and approaches face to face. Can you see them, William? Vecna asks. Can you see the children? Vecna declares that he loves his children because they will help him reshape the world. They are weak in the body and mind, easily broken and remolded. He tells Will, "You were my first and you broke so easily. You showed me what was possible, what I could achieve. Minds like yours do not belong in this world, they belong in mine." He drops Will and retreats back into his realm within the upside downs. Will may have escaped the upside down years ago, but he has never truly been free from Vecna. Season 5 begins with the flashback to Will's original kidnapping in season 1, confirming that Vecna had long-term plan for him from the very beginning. In the present, he drops Will and returns back into his realms within the ups down. Will may have accepted the ups and downs years ago, but he has never truly been free of Vecna. Season 5 begins with flashback of Will's original kidnapping in season 1, confirming that Vecna has long-term plan for him from very beginning. In the present, Will still feel connected to the Mind Flayer or hive mind as the group call it. With Robin's help, he realizes he functions almost like an antenna for Vecna. The group decided to use will connection as a form of reverse physiology, attempting to anticipate Vecna's next victim. After saving Erika and her family, Will begins piecing together his connection more clearly. He has a visions of the hive where Holly and the other children are being held. The hive is deeply important to Vecna, something he was not supposed to reveal. After Vecna releases Will in the final scene, Will sees Demogorgons preparing to attack Mike and the others as they attempt to save the middle scholars, and then suddenly all the Demogorgons freeze. He hears the world of Vecna calling. Will searches for answer and outside himself, but the truth comes through his childhood memories flashing before his eyes. The camera cut back to Vecna grooming mind attacks as he summons the Demogorgons using his mind to control them. Will responds by tapping into his newly discovered powers, mentally striking back at Vecna. The episode ends with Will wiping blood from his nose, a symbolic moment of his emerging strength. The central story of the first three episodes of Stranger Things Season 5 focus on finding these findings and stopping Vecna. At first, Vecna only appears as the Holy's imaginary friend, making him seem less threatening than he truly is. After nearly a decade on air, Stranger Things is now saying farewell. Executive producers and directors Sean Larry explained the thoughtful reasoning behind ending the series with season 5. The latest chapter pick up a little over a year after the event of season 4, when Hawkins was rocked by Vecna's attack and the ups and downs continued to threaten Indiana. Netflix reportedly invested nearly $500 million into the season, aiming to deliver the epic conclusions that fans have come to expect. In a departure from their usual release approach, the roughly 2-hour episodes were shown in limited theaters across the United States and Canada ahead of Netflix premiere. Even as the show concludes, the franchise will live on through the upcoming animated series Stranger Things The Game 1985, set for release in 2026. Additionally, the Duffer brothers have confirmed that progress is being made on the potential live-action spin-off under their new deal with Paramount. In an interview with SAC Ash Corazon, Sean Larry discussed the decision to end the show with season 5. He explained that no one wanted to overstay their welcome or drag the story out unnecessarily. The main reason to end it now, he said, is that it feel right. I have followed these characters since I first read the script from the Duffer brothers, and it's the natural time to conclude their story. Levy praised the season 5 finale as a magnificent achievement, describing it as a both satisfying and deeply emotional. It explains a lot, which is not easy to do when you have so many characteristics. Those stories need resolutions, he said. Somehow Matt and Roses put it off. When asked about spoiler, Levy reminded deliberately which I am scared to tell you what happened because then it would be a reveal and that would be a spoiler. There are many unanswered questions, but thankfully the showrunners care about providing satisfying answer. Shows that fail to do that leave a mark on viewers, but a great ending, a great finale is something we never forget. The finale of Stranger Things is truly remarkable, and the cast literally grew up on a camera. Their childhoods have been documented throughout the series. On a personal level, Sean Larry reflected on what it has been like to watch them mature both on and off screen. I have watched them grow the way the world has, Levy said, but I have also had the privilege of seeing them evolve as creative professionals. They have become incredible. As they have gained more control of their craft, we could challenge them with a material that demanded more from them. They were always special, but now they are special with full command of their abilities. Levy described season 5 as a gift for storytelling, the actor delivering amazing performance, and even today when he sits next to these young men and women on set, he is flooded with memories. Thousands of moments on set, creating storytelling experience that are no ionic. He said at that time it was just us bringing these stories to life. Those memories are what I will carry with me into the future. Fans can explore other Stranger Things season 5 coverage, including Bobby Brown's confirming that the season 5 finale gives Will Byers a definitive ending, Charlie Han explaining how Jonathan Byers' story differs from prior seasons. The series final chapters volume 1 released on November 26 and volume 2 premiering on December 25 with the finale on December 31 remain true to the spirit of the show. Stranger Things has always been a blend of adventure, heart, and supernatural thrills, and season 5 continues that tradition. It is distinctly imperfect season, blessing thrilling sequences with occasional emotional or native missteps. Some plot threads are feel illogical or overly ambitious, and certain twists and solutions may strain credibility. Yet, for most fans, the emotional payoff, nostalgic callbacks, and ionic moments overweight the nitpicky details. The biggest challenge of season 5 is not Vecna or any villain. It's the message of time. 3 years have passed since season 4, and the series had to reacclimate viewers to Hawkins and the ups and downs. The first few episodes carefully reintroduce the town and its residents, blending jump scare, suspense, and the character development while also accounting for costs, real life aging. It takes some time to get back into the rhythm of the story, but for long time fans, it's worth the ride. Season 5 ultimately captured the essence of the show we have followed for nearly a decade, full of adventure, heart, and supernatural thrills. Even it is not perfect, although the series timelines claims that only a year has passed. The kids are now full grown adult, some of them are married, and many seems older than expected. Adjusting to this, it becomes clear that everyone is now operating under the shadow of military control. After the events of season 4, Mike, Will, and Lucas are back to school while Eleven trains rigorously for her eventual final confrontations with Vecna. Other characters including Nancy, Robbins, and Jonathan are running a radio station because why not? Hooper and Joyce remain vigilant, waiting for events to worsen for their endangered children. Max is still in a Vecna-induced coma. Chaos unfold almost immediately with help from a new kid plus Mike, Nancy, and younger sister. The group faces attacks and orchestrated by the antagonist's new military overlord, Dr. Lena Hamilton. This season lean into an 80s vibes with a superstar ensemble cast. There are moments in the first 4 episodes that feel quite lengthily Stranger Things for intense. In episode 3, the gang set up a trap involving a balloon, a crane, Christmas lights on a wall, and a baseball reminiscent of the ionic visuals from season 1. Little Holly is fun addiction. Though her age remains unclear, she was just a toddler last season. The season remains action-packed with heartfelt moments highlighting siblings and romantic relationships. The bond between Jonathan and Nancy remains the emotional core, nuanced and believable. However, the cracks in the series relatability are noticeable. The massive scales of the story has diluted the shines of individual personalities. Romantic chemistry once a highlight in season 3 and 4, particularly between Mike and Eleven, occasionally feel forced or secondary to the native spectacles. World building under Hawkins' militarized law also stretches believability. Kids are kidnapped by military police but somehow remain safe, often driving luxury cars in the middle of the night without raising alarms. Covenant plot devices like perfectly timed Vecna attacks sometimes strain credibility, yet longtime fans can overlook these flaws. They are minor compared to the larger thrills and emotional impact of the series. With more than 5 hours of the story left in the season 5, the Differ brothers' visions is still unfolding. If the first 4 episodes are any indications, the season promises to be just good enough to thrill fans. Viewers will laugh, cheer, gasp, and maybe even cry. It would be unfair to reduce the series to the simple judgment based on mirror flaws. Critics have debated season 5 heavily, but Matt and Rose Differ bring Stranger Things to the satisfying close, blending stellar acting, impactful characters, moments, methodology, logical twist, and emotional resonance as levels that few blockbusters movies can match. This is the final season of the series, which means expectations are high than ever. Season 5 is essentially a battle to determine the fate of Hawkins and the ups and downs all side from what somewhat clunky first episodes that set up the timeline and positions the characteristics. The opening blocks of episodes does an increasingly chilling job of establishing the stakes for our heroes and introducing the major threat, both military and supernatural. The tensions culminates in chapter 4, which delivers a scale and ambitions unlike anything the show has attempted before. Hawkins itself has changed since it is idyllic portrayals in 1983. Following the events of season 4, Max briefly opened a gate to the ups and downs, leaving the town in a state of quarantine, isolated from the rest of the states with barricades, checkpoints, and a constant military presence. Those who remained, like Joyce and her children, continued to live under surveillance while quietly pursuing their own goal. Nancy, Sam, Jonathan, and Reuben operate from a secret radio station using remote equipment to plan and scout missions for Hoopers into the ups and downs. Meanwhile, Mike and Will continue their school routine but assist as a lookout and field operative during these operations. The allies are organized and purposeful, with the exceptions of Jonathan, who has become bitter and withdrawn since the death of his friend Eddie Monson. His anger and defensiveness over the town's mistress of Eddie force the rest of the group, especially Will, to set up creatively during dangerous moments. The performance of the cast reflect these changes. Jonathan wrestles with grief and anger. Robin shows her assertive sides, and the Scorpion group dynamic bring energy and cohesion. The series also reintegrates key Hawkins' resistance into the story. Karen Wheeler, Holly Wheeler, and even her bully contribute to grounding the supernatural chaos in the community. Hawkins have always been this balance, allow the show to maintain the kid-centric charm of its early seasons while delivering high-stakes native tension. Meanwhile, the overarching threats of season 5 continue through secret experiments in Hawkins. Dr. Martin Branier legacy persists with a sinister presence in Linda Canny, who operate a lab in the ups and downs. Her motivates remain unclear, but it is evident she is dangerous. She hoard and abandons creators to do her bindings and the protect a secret room. Hopper and Eleven, who spend much of these episodes together in the ups and downs, will eventually infiltrate this lab to uncover its mysteries. Season 5 waves together the supernatural threat, the military's control, and the community of Hawkins, delivering a complex and emotionally changed narrative that both honors the show's origins and pushes the story to its epic conclusions. Critics have been assessing the first 4 episodes of season 5 as a short of mini seasons or chapter 1 episode 1, and at 71 minutes runtime it is the least graceful of the pack. It dedicates a lot of time to expositions and character setups, which can feel heavily handed. For example, the new ratio station scenes primarily serves as a way for Robin to provide an exposition dump, making part of the episodes feel like the least organic sequence of the series. Certain sequences like the snowstorms at the labs or early expositions beat feel underwhelming compared to the talent of the cast. Jonathan's basically plotlines, Nancy's decisions, and Hooper's overprotective instincts triggered by the new training machines occasionally feel like a regressions in their character dynamics. The season find it footing in episode 2, the vanishing of the Holly Wheeler, which immediately ramps up the tension with a terrifying Demogorgon attack. This sequence evokes some of the most memorable horror moments of the series and re-establish stakes for long-term characters. The episodes also mark a smoother return to the show's multi-plot structure, the balancing group missions and individual story arc effectively. One of the more refreshing pairings is Will and Robin as he explores his reactivative psychic connection to Vecna. Robin's independence and confidence provide Will with someone he can confide is about his same-sex feelings, strengthening both characters' emotional arc. Episode 3, The Turnbull Trap, combined period piece aesthetics with commando style action sequence in ups and down featuring Eleven and Hooper. It also established Holly as the unexpected focus of Vecna attentions, highlighting Vecna's dark powers while showcasing the quiet menace of his persona. The episode ends with a strong reveals that set up the stakes for climactic episode 4. Chapter 4 sources written and directed again by the Duffer brothers, in part love letter to 80s scientific classics, part action packed thrill ride. 11 shines as Holly protector, delivering impressive fight sequence, while the episode's climax showcases some of the most ambitious work of the series. It blends multiple storylines, shamelessly integrating children, demogorgons, and high stakes action with exceptional pacing, the battle sequence are intense, and the graphic violence may not be suitable for younger viewers. The episode also deliver a satisfying payoff for long-running plot thread, including Will enrolling power holy roles in Vecna plans and callbacks to season 2, trying to gather controversial arc in an unexpected way. Episode 4, and on a breathless note, clearly illustrating Vecna plans and setting up of the finals of 4 episodes with anticeptions after somewhat expositions heavy first episodes. Volume 1 quickly find its groove. These 4 episodes return to these tones and characters of Hawkins while accelerating the fight against Vecna to a scale the series has rarely matched. Fans will be left eagerly wondering, will 11 and will get another chance to finally defeat Vecna? Is Max going to wake up? Can we ever find peace in her life? These were some of my biggest questions going into Stranger 5 Season 5 Volume 1. It has been over 3 years since Season 4 ended, and my list of enraging questions has grown overwhelming. Thankfully, Volume 1 for episodes quickly answer some of the most burning questions set shortly after the event of Season 4. Season 5 find Hawkins under strict military control following the earthquake caused by Vecna, the villain. Although Vecna was seemingly defeated, thrown from a window by a shotgun blast, he remains a looming threat. The group continues to anticipate his next move, while Hooper and 11 focus on training Mike, Will, Dustin's Rubens, and coordinates ways to locate Vecna. Max remain in a coma, a hunting reminder of the dangerous group faces and of the stake involved. Returning to Hawkins, the Duffer brothers take several bold storytelling risks in these first 4 episodes, some of which may dramatically shift how fans perceive the series as a whole. The native decisions, especially regarding Max and Vecna, are likely to generate strong reaction from viewers, with only Volume 2 remaining set to release on Christmas and New Year Eve. Time is running out for the Hawkins kids to recall the city and confront Vecna. Volume 1 wastes no time. The core group remain united and resourceful, continuing their missions while adapting to the new challenges imposed by the military lockdowns and the enraging chaos of the ups and downs. 11 carries a new sense of confidence, more skilled in her power and strategic thinking. Mike has a heartfelt protective moments with Holly, who emerges as a central figure in some of Volume 1 most emotional sequences, the strongest we have seen since Season 1. Of course, nothing goes exactly as planned. The ups and downs continues to pose unpredictable threats, forcing the characters into smaller groups, which lead to some of the series' most compelling team-ups. Joyce and Hooper, Nancy and Jonathan, and the younger heroes like Mike and Will each navigate danger from both the military and supernatural forces, creating tense, high-stakes sequences. At the same time, Volume 1 maintains the pitfalls and narrative risk the Duffer Brothers has explored in previous season, balancing thrilling actions, emotional depth, and occasionally convoluted plot twist. But overall, the story moves at a brisk pace, establishing the stake for the final showdowns while keeping the heart of Hawkins intact. The scope of Stranger Things has grown enormously with expansive world buildings and a large ensembles of heroes, which sometimes make the narrative feels convoluted. Considering the size of season 5 cast, it's easy to see why the Duffer Brothers Netflix series is both a blessing and a curse. Following these characters for nearly a decade has created undeniable attachment, though naturally we are more invested in some figures than others. With such a vast roster of core characters, the story can occasionally suffer. This problem became more pronounced in season 4, where characters frequently appeared across locations from Indiana to California and even Russia. Season 5 largely returned to the Hawkins as a central location, but the characters are often split into smaller groups for much of Volume 1. While this approach work on smaller scale, the sheer number of characters and moving parts in Hawkins and the ups and downs can make the story feel overwhelming. Long return times and frequent shift between groups mean that an tensing moment in one plotline might not play off until much later. Aside from judging characters, scenes, times, season 5 also has challenging of tying up nearly a decade of Los Angeles with only a handful of episodes remaining. This makes the storytelling even more ambitious. If I had to sum up Volume 1 in one word, it would be ambitious, complex, sprawling, and filled with multiple interesting storylines across Hawkins, the ups and downs, and the beyond. Despite the sprawling narrative, the first 4 episodes take several bold swings with character arc, risking the addictions of convoluted event, but also adding tense and depth headings into the final chapter. Romantic storylines like the long-running triangles between Ruben, Jonathan, and Steve may feel stretched over time, but they remain part of the emotional fabric of the series. Beyond relationship, there are major reveals that will spark conversations and debate among viewers, especially those who have theorized about the series for years. In some ways, certain plot beats may feel predictable to longtime fans, give the extensive speculation surrounding the show, yet the Duffer Brothers deserve credit for taking risk rather than playing it safe, delivering surprises as the series approaches its conclusions. While some choices may be divisive, there is still time for the story to land fully. Volume 1 of Stranger Things Season 5 is now streaming on Netflix. Volume 2 is set to release on December 25, with the series finale arriving on December 31. As the final seasons of Stranger Things unfolds, it's hard not to feel the weight of series, and for fans who have grown up alongside these characters, it's more than just a show, it's a global phenomena, and for good reason. The cast has undeniable chemistry, the characters arc are brilliantly written, and the series continues to deliver genuinely terrifying moments beyond its suspense. The show remains a love letter to the 1980s, evoking the spirit of classics, Dungeons and Dragons styles adventures, which add a nostalgic charm. Season 4 ended with the little glimmer of hope, but season 5 picked up with a slightly brighter tone. Though Hawkins is now completely walled off by the government, resistance are unable to leave, while the lab and military maintain secret base in town. 11 remains in hidings, honing for power, while the rest of the core group prepare for the final confrontations. The stakes have never been higher. The team knows this is their last chance to defeat Vecna or Hawkins, and possibly the world will fail. Dustin, in a moment of comic homage, has taken on the persona of the late Eddie Monson's, complete with hair, rings, and mannerisms. This temporarily causes tension with his friend, but when it matters, he will undoubtedly come through for the group. Meanwhile, Eleven is honing her abilities, practically her connection to Vecna, which has already been foreshadowed in the first few minutes of Volume 1. Will's previous captures and release by Vecna also loom as a critical factor in the season's unfolding events. Despite the danger, there is a sense of familiarity and comfort in seeing Mike, Robin, and Jonathan and Lucas training to fight together, an echo of the unity from season 1, not amplified by much higher stakes. Visually, the series continues to impress. The production values, elaborate sets, and the massive action sequence make season 5 feel cinematic, reminiscent of the spectacles in season 4. The Dam Gorgon, the other ups and down creatures remain terrifying as ever, and final moment of Volume 1 leave viewers literally dreaming and eagerly awaiting the rest. Set in the fall of 1987, Haken is on the edge. The group is united by a singular mission: find and defeat Vecna, whose whereabouts the whereabouts and plan remain unknown. Their task is further complicated by a militarized Hawkins witch hunt 11 and constrains the hero's freedom with the anniversary of Will's disappear approaching. The tension rises and darkness more powerful than anything the group has faced before loom over them. To survive and end this nightmare, the full party must stand together. On last time midway through Volume 1, the show delves into what it feels like to be trapped in the ups and downs, giving the audience a chilling glimpse into Vecna realm and the stakes that await in the series conclusions. If the first 4 episodes of season 5 are any indicates, fans are in for a thrilling, chilling, and heartbreakingly emotional adventure, an epic farewell to show that has defined a generation. From within this uncanny realms, time seems almost meaningless. Old memories clings to the landscape, but the reality outside remains frustratingly out of reach. Strange creators emerge here, yet none possesses the soil to forge genuine connections and existence, both in solars and hunting. The 5th and final seasons of Netflix smash hit is not entirely bleak. It delivers sweet characters, moments, thrilling actions, and enough suspense to keep fan on edge, all while sparkingly in the show signature dark humor. Though the world may have moved on from a banana boopers, Stranger Things remain unyielding, cementing its place as a defining scientific horror series as it reaches its home stretch. Visually, the series balance and great spectacles with intimacy from afar. The stories can feel tough, capturing both the enormity and the subtlety of 18th month's narrative leap. fusions in handled thoroughly. Romans and Saps now works at the local radio station, charming upgrade from their days at family videos, while authorities continue their investigations, adding layers of the tension. The characters themselves are where the head of season lies. 11 Mike, Joyce, Harper, Will Lucas, Nancy Jonathans, and other navigates a world reshaped by loss, grief, and the lingering effect of previous battles. Some face the void left by those no longer with them. Addie and Josephs are gone, and others struggle to recoalesce unspoken feeling and past traumas. Meanwhile, the mysterious forces, including the Dr. Rise once more, reminding our heroes that danger is never far away. From the premiere, the urgency is palpable. The gang races against time to locate missing allies and confront the growing threats of the ups and down. While the stakes are unclear at the time, the potential consequences feel enormous, and the characters throw themselves into the fight with relentless determination. The season delights in its adventure sets pieces, from body trapping a horse against a demogorgons to orchestrating a complex rescue missions with memorable heroes. The series continue to blend suspense with humor and inventive storytelling. However, some of the emotional payoffs, like the consequence of a connection to the ups and downs, feel slightly underdeveloped, leaving certain characters arc with less impact than fan might hope. Yet, even in these moments, the show's scales and ambition remain impressive, delivering a thrilling ride for both long-time viewers and newcomers alike. Even in its final season, Stranger Things sometimes stretches the limit of possibility. Minor logistical leaps, like characters repeatedly smuggling delicate supplies into a location described as one of the most secure in the country, gradually chip away at suspensions of disbelief. Yet these flaws are small compared to what truly matters, the heart of the series. The season 5 is not without a tender moment. 11, involving Bond with Rubens, whom she regards as a monster, is genuinely touching, as in his Mike's sometime awakened but heartfelt role as a protective older brother to his scared younger sister. However, some emotional beats feel underdeveloped. Certain storylines, particularly those involving the looping monster, lack the space to fully unfold, leaving them less impactful than they could be. The show characters continue to anchor its emotional core, but their growth is uneven. While actors have naturally matured, Byrne and Wolf convincingly look like adults in their 20s. The series still depicts them as a teenagers, which highlights the familiar Hollywood tropes of older actors playing younger roles. Yet this suspended growth align with Stranger Things' long-running tension. The youngest character experience accelerated emotional and social changes, making their struggles feel immediate and high stakes. Some characters arc, however, feel stagnant. Relationships that once drawn the narratives, like Joel long distance romance, appear to have fizzled, while other characters remain oddly froze in time, unable to move past their nostalgic memories. The series hit at potential fairy tales resolutions, but largely leave the characters suspended between past and present, preparing for the final chapter of their journey. Meanwhile, the overarching threat remain real and pressing. Hawkins, Indiana is still a town under siege both by the ups and downs and its hidden underworld and the ultimate villains. Vecna continues to loom over the story. Season 5 balanced thrilling horror set piece with smaller emotional stack reflecting the show's core tension between fantastical threats and human vulnerability. Even as the series closes, the world of Stranger Things reminds viewers that growing up is unavoidable. Characters must confront loss, change, and responsibilities, even in a town where reality itself often bends. The final season promises to bring both the series monster and its people unresolved emotional to a long awakened conclusions, trying to gather its knowledgestic past with its high stakes present. Hoobers has built a dojo honing the skills needed to face Victor. Meanwhile, the remaining group of children and the younger adults continue their adventure navigating the challenges of their world. On the economic front, the UK is facing significant challenge according to the Organizations for Economic Corporations and Development (OECD). Britain productivity is slowing due to smaller workforce, particularly caused by the reduced in world migrations. Inflations in the UK is expected to be the higher among advanced economic this year, 3.5%, with only the United States predicted to exceed its next year. The OECD forecasts the UK's economic growth to slow to 1.2% and in 2026, slightly improving here to 1.3% in 2027. The sluggish labor market is exacerbated by policy change. The government has implemented a major overhauls of the immigration system affecting both legal and illegal migrations. Some Secretary Shabbanaz Muhammad announced new measures including long waiting periods. Okay. In response to everything that the much like these real world challenges, the fictional world of Stranger Things has reached a breaking point. The series, which debuted on Netflix in 2016, initially captivated audience with its blend of scientific fantasy, 1980s nostalgia, and Inderia characters work. Yet over the years, as the story grew larger and more complex, some of the original charms has felt stretched thin. Even as the series expand its immigrative reach beyond Hawkins, and the heart of the show has often remained threaded to its small town origin. The first half of the fifth and final season pushes that tension to its limit, picking up a fall of 1987's Hawkins is under a second military quarantines, and the fragile barrier between the real world and the ups and downs grow precisely thin. Survivors like Joyce, Mike, Elevens will reunite with a single goal, confronting the villains. Vecna, whose role was revealed in the previous season. As the season progresses, the cast must navigate not only the external threats of Vecna and the interdimensional forces, but also internal conflicts, the military interference, and the complex interpersonal dynamics among the group. On paper, it's an epic story, but in practice, much of it conveyed through dialogues that often feel unnatural, with character repeatedly explaining motivations and plot points that the audience can already infer. The writing occasionally falter under the weight of expositions, prioritizing clarity over organic interaction. Despite these flaws, the season still deliver memorable moments. The playful exchange between Maya Hawkins and Rubens provide levity and charm, reminding viewers of the series' human core, yet the narrators are feel over unburdened with excessive explanations and interruptions that slow the pacing and dilute emotional resonance. Even as the series approaches its finale, it remains a balancing act between spectacles and sentiments, ambitions and intimacy, a struggle as familiar as the tensions in world economy. Season 5 of Stranger Things take bold risk practically with how it handles the grown-up characters we once knew as a kid. The series lean heavily on sequences that highlight Eleven's telekinetic abilities, yet these movements are unevenly balanced. Some smaller, self-continued scenes like a Home Alone style encounter with a Demogorgon shines precisely because of their modest scale, allowing tension and creativity to take central stage. Unfortunately, an episode runtime have grown. The series increasingly relies on CGI spectacles, large scale set pieces dominates the scenes, but the emotional stake feel diminished, lost amid the dazzling but impersonal visual effect. Moments that once carried genuine tensions and apathy now struggle to resonate, even when the characters lift their arm to unleash telekinetic power. The sense of earned emotional slip away, leaving the audience more impressed by visuals than invested in the story. The season occasionally attempt to recapture the grounded charm of earlier installments. Musical core like Patrick Gabriel cover of Heroes are strategically reused to evoke nostalgia and emotions, yet these echoes of the past feel insufficient to restore the magic of the first season. Where once the series balanced suspense, character development, and small town wonder, it now often feels catch between spectacles and the sentiments, struggling to merge the two effectively. Long time viewers may notice another challenge: the passage of time. Actor who once convincingly played teenagers are now fully grown. The year between season 4 2022 and his finale stretch the sense of continuity, while the show retained flashes of its original 1980s inspired charms. Its momentums often feel weighed down by expositions, dialogues, heavy sequence, and the presence of explained every plot twist and characters' motivations. Despite these flaws, there is a still room for series to deliver Long-time viewers may notice another challenge: the passage of time. Actor who was convincingly played teenagers are now fully grown, and the year between season 4 2022 and the finale stretches the sense of continuity. While the show retains flashes of its original 1980s inspired charm, its momentums often feel weighed down by exposition, dialogue, heavy sequence, and the pressure to explain every plot twist and the character motivate. Despite their flaws, there is still room for the series to deliver a satisfying conclusions. The remaining episodes of the final seasons hold the potential for high stake battles, emotional payoffs, and the returns of the animate characters driven storytellings that first made Stranger Things a cultural phenomena. Yet the first half of the season 5 reveal a tensions at the heart of the show, the struggle to balance nostalgia, spectacles, and the genuine emotions. One last challenge for Hawkins and its inhabitants before the final curtain falls. The fifth and the final seasons of Stranger Things is split into three distinct parts featuring big budgets, blockbuster style episodes, some with feature length run times. Despite this, the show creators, the Duffer brothers, maintain the fast moving breakneck pacing that has defined the series climax episode. The rush from the one massive action set piece to another, often relying on the exposition to bridge the gap. The result is never boring, but it can feel exhausting. The narrative carries forward at full speed. Season 5 also struggle with the tendency to over explain. While some clarity is necessary, the series sometimes feels compelled to answer every question, leaving little room for mystery. This contrasts sharply with season 4, which left viewer on edge. Max was left in a coma, and ups and downs began to leak into Hawkins, and the villainous Vecna, previously thought defeated, was revealed to still be a threat. These unsolved threads created suspense and tension, making the opening of season 5 feel oddly constrained, as if the show hesitated to fully commit to the chaos it unleashed. The narrative quickly re-establishes Hawkins under a military mandated quarantine, with life seemingly returning to normal for most residents, even as a supernatural forces continue to simmer beneath the surface. Meanwhile, the larger immense cast is sent off on various side quests to address their own character arc. At the heart of the story, even and her friends are still focused on stopping Vecna, while other characters facing personal trials will awaken from his coma, even struggle to fully control her power. And Holly, he finds herself unexpected bound to the dark force of ups and downs. Actor performance help anchors the story and the chaos. The Fisher in the particular convey confusions and terror effectively, as his character grapples with increasingly overwhelming circumstances. Muscular cues like Patrick Gabriel, cover of heroes, continue to punctuate key emotional moment, offering a nostalgic counterbalance to the relentlessness action. Yet the season pacing present as a persistent challenge. The story emotional stacks often struggle to land between the rapid fire action sequences. There is a little room for reflections or meaningful characters interactions, while the remaining episode may yet find a balance between spectacles and halt. The first half of 7-5 is defined by high octane thrills, occasionally interrupted by brief awkward attempts at animate character driven moments. Despite the high stack action and rapid pacing, it can be difficult to become fully invested in some of the events of season 5 even after a year. With these characters, the sheer speeds the spectacle can give the season an oddly weightless quality. There little time to pause and absorb the stakes, which can make it hard to feel fully excited about what's happening. Still, there is a joy in returning to these familiar facing. Robin remain a standout, her witty and grounded presence providing a strong anchor amid the chaos. The series continued to explore her dynamic with the other characters, giving fresh depth to the interactions that feel both new and resonant. Meanwhile, this show introduced new mysteries, including the military experiments in the ups and downs, while the maintaining its significant pop culture landed charms, reference to Back to the Future, Home Alone, and even Little Red Riding Hood punctuate the story alongside guest appearances from notable 80s actors like Lingeria Hamilton, who play a mysterious government scientist. Character relationship continue to be the emotional core of the season. Nancy Wheeler interactions with Jonathan's are immersingly prickly, balancing humor and tension as both wives for her attentions even during her stacks scenarios like racing to climb a radio tower. Will Byers and Robin Buckley develop a meaningful relationship, allowing Will to begin coming to terms with an sexuality sometime the series had only hinted at its previous season. Even the return of less fortunate characters introduce unexpected curveballs, creating new narrative parallels and depending the ensemble's dynamics. In these moments, Stranger Things still capture the charm that originally made it a cultural phenomena, even amid chaos, horrors, for humor, empathy, and characters-driven storylines. It reminds that despite the spectacle, the heart of the Hawkins and the people who live there remain the show's true strength. Season 5 of Stranger Things faces the ultimate test, delivering a satisfying conclusion. While the show has never shied away from large-scale scientific adventure, the challenge now is balanced to spectacle with the genuine emotional impact. There have been moments in a previously seasons like the fake out death of Jim Hopper that hit a high stake, yet the series often pulls it punches, leaving the drama feelings muted. Action sequence practically involved demogorgons and other supernatural threats are thrilling, but sometimes lack the emotional resonance that make earlier season as a compiling. Historically, Stranger Things has balanced mystery and spectacle. Season 3, for example, combined mind controlling force Russia emotionates the local intrigue with the blockbuster settle action set piece in season 5. However, the series lean more heavily into large scale terror, occasionally at the expense of narrative subtlety. Episodes like the 142-minute seasons 4 finale or the 1 or 23 minutes fourth episode of season 5 showcase high body counts, massive action sequences, and rapid pacing that can overwhelm the story. Quieter, more human moments. Yet, even amid these blockbuster moments, the Duffer Brothers maintain this personal, playful touch. The series continue to blend 1980s pop culture influence with heartfelt character movement, proving that nostalgia can be springboard rather than a crutch. Music cues, visual callbacks, and the small touch of humor and charms echoes the story, reminding viewers why the show became a cultural phenomenon 9 years ago. Season 5 pick up roughly a year and a half after season 4, with Hawkins, Indiana reeling from a massive gate to the ups and downs that has torn through the town like a earthquake. With the series split into 3 parts and only a few episodes remaining, fans are watching closely, hoping the Duffer Brothers can stick the landing and give the Flash the ship's series of finale worthy of its legacy. While the first half of the season implies fast-paced action, high stakes, and blockbusters spectacles, there is a still hope that remaining episode will restore the balance between emotional depth and thrilling adventure that made Stranger Things so beloved. Since the US Army imposed strict control over Hawkins, the town has been largely cut off from the outside world, with residents confined to their home, jobs, and schools. Meanwhile, Eleven has gone off the grid trainings with her adopted father Jim Hooper's prayer for the upcoming battle. The rest of the gang, Mike's the Wheeler and their friends and the family, have united to form an underground residences using a secret code transmitted through the Hawkins radio stations, and they strategize how to track down and stop the villainous Vecna. Stranger Things has always excelled when the operating as a compelling mystery blending scientific horror and 1980s nostalgia. Season 1, built around Will Byers' disappear, immediately become a must-watch sensation, while Season 4 introduced a powerful central villain Vecna, slowly revealing his origin across multiple episodes. Season 5, by contrast, began with the series' larger mysteries, larger laid bears, the absence of central enigmatic force, leaving the season at the slightly disadvantage compared to the show. Most suspenseful in installments, still smaller mysteries and teasing plot thread continue to providing intrigue, giving fans plenty to speculate about across individual episodes. One of the strengths of season 5 is the way the primary character operate as ununified ensembles. Previous seasons often split the cast into separate subgroup on the parallel storylines, while which sometimes delicated the narrative impacts. Here, even when characters diverge, venturing into the ups and downs or pursuing personal missions, they remain tightly connected to the overarching story. This allows for richer interactions and heightened stake without losing focus. Characters' dynamics remain a highlight. Dust and Steve navigate a rocky, romantic path. Elevens and Hooper bond over their shared struggle, and Robin and Maya offer humor and insights as they support their friend Will grapples with both internal and external challenge, while the Vecna continue to pose a credible threat. Even the few characters introduced this season as integrated thoughtfully, adding fresh energy without ever hemming the established ensemble. Ultimately, season 5 combined with the nostalgic charm, characters driven moments, the thrilling scientific actions have defined season Stranger Things. While preparing the series for its final confrontations, the stage is set for the Duffer brother to deliver the long anticipated final, balancing spectacles with the emotional resonance. Season 5 also introduced a few new characters such as Darakobo Jubilee, who are recurrently pulled into the hero's fight. Additionally, some characters who have largely been in the background now step into the spotlight, most notably Eleven, Mike, Nancy, younger sisters, and other whose arcs ties directly into the show. The past mysteries for long-time fans this season feels familiar and comforting, like returning to the favorite childhood setting even as it ramps up the stakes. The first episode set the tone with an upgraded version of Netflix logo, accompanied by the soundtracks designed to trigger nostalgia, a clear homecoming for viewers who have followed the series since its debut. The Duffer Brothers continue to speckle it playful 1980s reference, from obvious musical cues like Mr. Sandman's to more obscure such as Maury Elias board from 1985 Spy Capper. These Easter eggs never overshadow the story, they enhance it, giving fans small delights while the main narrative unfolds. On a more substantial level, the season draw inspirations from classical like A wrinkle in the time and the Terminator reflects in action sequence that blend larger scale spectacles with the character driven movement. Linda Hamilton's appears as a high-ranking army officer tracking 11 adds both gravitas and a direct homage to 80s science fiction cinema, while some characters like Lucas receive fewer personal moments and Jonathan's romantic subplot is hurried. The show carefully balances action and story beat, paying off long-running plot lines such as Max waking from the coma in way that feel deliberate, the satisfying immortally. The Duffer brothers have avoided the letting fans' expectations delicated and narrated. There are few reveal that may divide may divide viewers, but they serve the story rather than appeasing a fan committee. This approach gives the first half of the season 5 a sense of purpose and confidence. The series is ending on its own terms if the final episode maintains this balance of spectacle, characters, and nostalgia. The back half of the season promises a remarkable conclusions, one that Hawkins is its residents and the fan at home deserves. Finally, season are always challenging, especially for the series as large and beloved as Stranger Things, but the first half of the season 5 show that the creators are aware of the stakes and committed to delivering a satisfying finale. After investigating years into a show, fans naturally hope the final season will honor its characters and storylines. As talks, many series have struggled with a cautionary tales is Game of Thrones, whose final season, despite some strong development, left many viewers frustrated and disappointed. Fortunately, season and Stranger Things is charting a very different course. The first 4 episodes of season 5 move the story forward naturally, building toward the climate conflicts with Vecna, while mirror pacing issues appear in a few episodes. The narrative maintains clear direction, steadily bringing Hawkins back into the focus and setting up the overarching goal, defeating Vecna and ending his reign of terror. The season excels at weaving multiple storylines together, splitting the ensembles into smaller groups in volume 1, the preparing to unite them for a massive payoff in later episode. One of the season's strongest elements is that mix the families pairing. The new dynamic fans are threatened to interaction that feels fresh while still honoring long established relationship. Among these, the Will Robin's storyline stand out as a true highlight. Historically, these two characters have minimal interaction, but season 5 craft a moving, empowering arc that allow Robbins to open up about her journey while spotting Will as he navigates his own struggles. It is exactly the kind of emotion characters driven storytelling that the series thrives on. Even with the premise the season would focus heavily on other characters such as Billy the brothers. This was our facts and reviews, so subscribe our channel to remain tuned from our facts and reviews of upcoming movies, seasons and dramas. So click the subscribe button and also the bell icon to always be tuned from our facts and reviews. Thank yous our viewers, our subscribers, thank you to all, and please leave a comments to appreciate our work. Thank you all.